So here's a serial killer that justice was not served. So it was a travesty of justice, totally, in this case.
In May of 2023, a man was arrested in Pflugerville. His name was Raul Meza, and police labeled him a serial killer.
So on May 24th, I answered the homicide main line, and the caller stated, "My name is Raul Meza, and you're looking for me." Meza described his life in and out of prison and said, I quote, "I got out in 2016. I end up murdering a lady soon afterwards."
That lady was Gloria Lofton. Sonia Houston is her daughter.
There have been a few circumstances in my life where I have let out what is truly a wail, not a cry, but a wail. And that was one of those circumstances that occurred. And even though it's years later, clearly it still impacts me.
Police records show that on that phone call, Meza says Lofton's case was not investigated as a homicide and was misidentified by police. A medical examiner's report from 2019 found possible evidence of strangulation, and a sexual assault kit tested positive for male DNA. In fact, in May 2020, 3 years before Meza was arrested, police records show the detective investigating the case found a DNA link between Meza and Lofton. But that detective did not act on the lead. And police say Meza went on to kill again in 2023. Interim Police Chief Robin Henderson publicly apologized for the handling of the case.
I can't imagine that the community or the family would think that this was okay.
But the fact of the matter is that officer cannot be disciplined for the misstep, even one that might arguably have saved a life. That's because it happened more than 180 days ago, and deep within state law is a provision that officers cannot be disciplined for things that long ago. Instead, the internal APD investigation into that detective now goes in the officer's personnel record, known as a G-file. Within any officer's G-file are confidential records, including complaints against officers that are unsubstantiated and any investigation that doesn't result in discipline. That includes the internal investigation Austin Police conducted into the Raul Meza misstep. Last year, Travis County voters approved the Police Oversight Act, which would make that G-file and that internal investigation a matter of public record. But that's still being worked out in the courts now.
Do you think that this is an argument for opening up that transparency from the police department?
I can see how there is that connection, if you will, but I can also respect and value that this is what the state law standard is.
Do you feel like you deserve access and the public deserves access to that investigation?
Most definitely. It's almost like it's this hidden file. Why is it so hidden? And it needs to be public record.
That question of transparency within the police department is at the center of a fraught relationship between the city of Austin and its police department.
Tonight, can the city of Austin and its police department come to an agreement on a path forward?
Officers feel like they haven't been supported.
He's taken seriously or we wouldn't be at the table.
Our exclusive interview with Austin Mayor Kirk Watson on a police contract.
No one should interpret a hurdle as not taking them seriously.
And who will be the next person in charge of the Austin Police Department? We sit down with Austin city leaders and ask them about what direction they see the city heading in.
We are one of the safest cities of our size in the country.
I do not feel safe in this city.
All that tonight in a special edition of CBS Austin, Blue City, the state of public safety in Austin. More than 300 police officers short within the Austin Police Department. Add to that, another 150 jobs unfilled within the entire department, and the job at the top of the department remains unfilled, with the city of Austin closing in on 2 candidates to be the next chief of Austin Police. Behind that, it's been 482 days since the Austin Police Department last operated under a contract. The city and the police union are back at the negotiating table now, but a deal is no guarantee. My co-host this evening, CBS Austin's Michael Atkinson, covered the back and forth for months now and spoken with APD, city leaders, and the Austin Police Association. Michael, the key question here is transparency and really how much the department should have here.
Both the city and the police have said that they want transparency within the department, but how much transparency has been arguably the largest hurdle to overcome. More than a year ago, Austin voters approved the Police Oversight Act along significant margins. That act would make those personnel records, the G-file, public record. But the city hasn't made those records public yet, prompting a legal battle with a divide between the voters and the police department.
State law is still controlling. And as of right now, because the court cases are all still pending, That material is all still protected, and state law says very explicitly that it cannot be released.
In the state law, the provision on G files says that police departments may maintain a personnel file. That would be private. That word may is at the center of the debate over the Police Oversight Act, and the group behind the act, Equity Action, has sued the city for not fully implementing the law.
Because it doesn't say that they have to maintain a G file, and now our law says that they can't maintain a G file, that they should stop maintaining a G file.
And that disagreement is now the culmination of years of a fraught relationship between the city of Austin and its police department.
In fact, it's hard to separate the Austin Police Department's year of attrition from the summer of 2020.
Black Lives Matter! After the protests of May of 2020 following the police killings of George Floyd and Austin's Mike Ramos, the Austin City Council cut its police department by $150 million.
With all the issues that we've had going on, I don't think it's been any secret that officers feel like they haven't been supported.
Travis County District Attorney Jose Garza, whose office presided over the indictments of more than 20 police officers, ran on a platform of police accountability. Last December, Garza's office dropped the charges against 17 officers. Instead, he, the Austin City Manager, and Mayor Kirk Watson requested the federal government investigate the Austin Police Department.
I'd love to just hear you explain the thinking behind that, of why you think that that was the best path forward.
There are a number of ways to make sure things are transparent and the people know what happened. But another would be to have sort of a pattern and practice review by a third party look at it.
4 months later, Garza handily won the Democratic primary for a second term as district attorney, signaling that Austin voters aren't through with police accountability.
That's an interesting question, because I don't think I would be looking for a police chief.
Still ahead, the two finalists for the Austin Police Department's top job. And do city leaders and community activists think Austin is heading in the right direction? Our town hall on the state of public safety in Austin.
I want someone who's going to, one, be transparent, two, understand the work, full stop.
In just a few days' time, we should know who Austin City Manager T.C. Broadnax is selecting to be the next police chief for Austin. Nearly 36 candidates applied for the top job from across the country. This week, we heard from the two finalists, Cincinnati's Assistant Chief Lisa Davis and Milwaukee's Chief Jeffrey Norman.
That's how I would do that. Get that morale up, you'll start retaining people, and your recruitment efforts will go up as well.
And I'm going to be that leader going to sit there and tell you every day, thank you.
The city manager's office today said it would take more time to review the two candidates after previously expecting a final decision by next Tuesday.
We know we have vacancies.
Mayor Watson talks 911 wait times and his plan for getting your family help sooner in an emergency situation. That's in our exclusive interview right after the break.
I called 911 the other day. It was good that I didn't need fire or EMS in this situation, but it took over 4.5 minutes for me just to get on the line with a dispatcher.
That was over a year ago, 3 months before the Austin City Council requested a formal report evaluating 911 call taking.
That report from the city auditor's office, which came out earlier this year, revealed 911 calls increased in 2023. The number of calls per 911 call taker, in fact, had a wide range, wider than the likes of Dallas or Houston.
But new data provided to CBS Austin by the mayor's office does show progress so far this year. Between 91 and 95% of 911 calls were answered within 15 seconds or less, and vacancies are down.
When I sat down with Mayor Kirk Watson, I asked about any lessons learned from the 911 call takers that can be applied to the police department staffing crisis. Or can we take anything about the way the process worked and apply that to the shortages within the Austin Police Department?
Well, we know we have vacancies. That's why you do what we did last year. One of the things is, even out of contract, you pass an ordinance that goes ahead and says, we have your back, don't worry about pay, we're even going to give you a pay raise. And it's the reason that we have always said, let's get to the table.
Tonight, we are joined by city council members and local community activists. We also have a live studio audience made up of a diverse group of Austinites who will get the chance to ask questions of our panelists.
Cleo and Chaz, I want to start off with you. I want to get the pulse of the feeling here. Is Austin safe? So Cleo and Chaz, let's start off. Cleo, what's the perception? Are we in a safe city?
I don't believe so. I interact with a lot of victims groups, and there is a feeling that everyone has a story of either their home being burglarized or their car taken. A feeling that if you call the police, they will not answer. 20 years ago, I was physically assaulted by my ex-boyfriend, and I had to call the police, Addison Police in Dallas. And I remember when I was crouched down in the bathroom that I was afraid for my life, but I knew the police were going to come. And I can't tell you how much I am terrorized that if I call the police, that they will not quickly respond if there's an intruder in my home. And I have a 10-year-old child, and my husband travels a lot. So believe me, that is a pressing thought in my head every day when I go to bed.
Chaz, what do you think? Are we doing a good job of keeping this city safe?
Well, you know, not my opinion, just going off facts, because I actually looked this up yesterday when we were talking to the police chief. One of the candidates is from Milwaukee, which happens to be one of the top 5 most dangerous cities based on homicide rates. And you know, to Cleo's statement, you know, it sucks that some people are still experiencing, you know, dangerous situations and being burglarized and harmed, because, you know, we don't want that. I don't think anybody in this room wants that. But when you look at the stats, like Austin is still like top 15, like top 20 safe cities compared to like other big cities. And you know me, I'm a pretty staunch critic of our police department. And I know some of the issues that they claim that they have, staffing numbers, resources, but they still seem to be doing a good job based on stats, right? Like, I think we're going in the right direction.
Council members, you obviously play a key role in the conversations with the police department. I'd love to get your assessments on what you make of those comments. We'll start with you, Councilwoman Kelly.
Yeah, I like Cleo, hear from people who are in my district every day that are concerned about increased response times. We are moving in the right direction as far as recruitment goes. We are far away from 2020 when the city council, before I was elected, before Councilmember Vela was elected, chose to defund the police department by $150 million, took away 150 vacant positions, and stopped all the police cadet academies. That was absolutely catastrophic to stop the cadet academies. While we needed to reform the curriculum, we didn't need to throw the baby out with the bathwater, and that put us really far behind in recruitment, which has led to where we are today with a staffing crisis.
And Cheeto, what do you make of public safety in Austin?
It's a largely safe city. We are one of the safest cities of our size in the country. Going off of Chaz's comment, our 2 APD chief finalists are from Cincinnati and Milwaukee, both of which have much higher murder rates and, generally speaking, much higher crime rates than Austin does. When you compare us to virtually any other city in the United States, our crime rates look better than just about any other city in the United States. Now, of course, that's not good enough. I mean, we want Austin to be a safer city. We want to continue to invest in public safety measures. We want to make sure that police response times are appropriate. But the reality is that today, Austin is one of the safest cities of its size in the United States.
And we'll have more coming up after the break. Is Austin heading in the right direction? We'll have more on that next.
In just a few words, is Austin heading in the right direction? We'll start with you, Cleo.
The fact that we can have a meeting here and have different perspectives, but still feel like, you know, we have a right and a seat at the table, I think shows that we are headed in the right direction, because, you know, we're here discussing it, and that's a part of it. We need to be able to hash things out. And like Chaz said, we need to hear from people that we might not agree, but their points are just as valid. Their experiences are just as valid.
Cheetah?
Austin is one of the best cities in the United States. We are moving forward in a positive direction. There's going to be missteps, there's going to be mistakes, there's going to be bumps and problems, but fundamentally, in so many areas, you know, culturally, health-wise, just the fabric of the city is, I think, stronger and better than it has been. And I think we're moving in the right direction, and that trend will continue.
I'm cautiously optimistic. I think we have a few things that are on the horizon that are going to be great for our police department, including the selection of a new police chief and a 4-year contract, which should both help with morale. I also believe it'll help with recruiting and retention of our officers. And, you know, like Cleo said, being here and being able to talk about it really helps put all the ideas out on the table and helps us learn from one another so that we can invest in this beautiful city that we all call home.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely agree. The fact that we don't politically agree on many things, but we can have this conversation, whether it gets heated at times. One thing I know for sure, that everybody up here, including you two gentlemen, we love this city, right? We love the city and all its imperfections and all its hypocrisies, and we love the people in the city, whether we agree with them or not. And the fact that we have one of our premier news stations in the city willing to carve out time to do this with, I'm going to say diverse group of people behind me. I think that's what makes Austin special, right? Like, this is that little bit of weird that we need to keep, because not many places are doing this. So, you know, thank you to CBS. Thank you all for shining the light on what makes Austin, Austin.
We all love Austin, and we all want to be safe. Thank you for your comments. We'll be right back.
Blue City, the state of public safety in Austin's town hall, will be streaming in its entirety online immediately after the show at 7 o'clock at cbsaustin.com. The city and the police union have been back at the negotiating table since March, after already more than a year without a contract.
Now, 4 months on, those discussions still seem at an impasse. So we asked stakeholders, where do we go from here?
I think we have made progress in that time frame. But I feel to a degree we're not being taken as seriously as we should be.
I don't know why he feels that way, but he's taken seriously, or we wouldn't be at the table.
I think the council has made it a priority. I believe me coming in, I share that sense of urgency on getting that done.
If a contract comes forward that doesn't have the Police Oversight Act implemented to the fullest, it's not getting a vote.
I don't think anybody would bring that to the council.
How long can the Austin Police Department keep going in this direction before it hits a wall?
I would say we're on the brink of disaster now. We're there.